What does a light truck manufacturing unit have to do with manufacturing cars? JAC have stepped into the ring with this. Whilst it has recently been superseded by a newer model, JAC threw out the rulebook with this car. Good looks, powerful motors and quality interior make the JAC a very welcome contender in the small electric car market. So this is the JAC ieV6E. Not a very easy name to remember, and a lot of their models are actually named very similar, such as the ieVe5, I think. I can't really remember. Anyway, JAC is primarily a light truck and minivan manufacturer, and in the last few years they've started to develop their own electric range, and this car here is one of their first. Interestingly, JAC are actually partnering up with two well-known firms to develop their electric car range. The first is VW, and they have signed a agreement with them to develop a cheap electric car range in China, probably off the back of this car. And I imagine that this is the direction that VW want to go with that cheap electric car range in China. The other joint venture or partnership they've got is with NIO. So NIO have produced the very smart SUV, which recently came out, I think, last month in China, and are set to release it in the US and overseas very soon. And JAC are their partner. So it looks like JAC are set to make A, lot of money, and B, they must know something about electric cars if VW and NIO have both signed up with them. So what's it like to drive? So I do have a few complaints about this car. The first is that the acceleration feels quite vague. In fact, when you put your foot down on the accelerator, it thinks about it, and then it goes. That is a bit disappointing in this car. Most of the electric cars I've had are like go-karts, press the pedal and off you go. But this one, unfortunately, is quite laggy. The other complaint I have is that the steering is very vague. I don't feel like I'm connected to the road. I don't have any feedback, and it lacks something that some of the other cars that we've driven have. One thing I would say is that the interior quality of the JAC is very good for such a cheap Super Mini. Now, I'm looking at a dashboard here with stitched leather, or pleather, I don't know. But it's all stitched, it's done properly, and it's very smart. It's a little bit plasticky in places, but generally it's quite good. It's basic. There's only a very simple radio here. There's no big screen. I've got AC. You know, my dials are a bit 1980s inspired, but I like it. It's clear. And this car costs around about £6,000 after subsidies new. That's incredible value for money. The range on this car is about 150 kilometers, which is okay, but with the newest crop of EVs today, it's a little bit lacking. So this is actually a 4-door Super Mini, and you can fit 4 adults in here quite comfortably. It's a bit tight in the back. Comes with a boot. This is like the Ford Fiesta of electric cars in China, and these are selling very well, in fact, and I can see why. They're very well put together, they're cheap, and most importantly, you can go on the grocery run, you can get everything in here, and it's small and it fits in a compact parking space. It doesn't have ridiculously small wheels like some of the other cars that we've driven. So this has actually got quite a unique look to this car. It's not aping other cars too much. It does have a bit of Nissan Micra about it. But in general, I think this car has its own design language. They've gone a bit wacky with some of the newer models that we'll be testing soon, but this one's actually rather restrained in terms of looks. So they've kind of gone for the whole premium feel with this car. All the dials here are metal looking, but not actually metal, they're just made out of plastic. The outside has a lot of chrome, and in general it's kind of pointing towards an ambition that they have, is to be the #1 electric car manufacturer in China. And even though it's all a bit fake at the moment, they've not actually done that bad a job. It's interesting that JAC, who do primarily make the trucks and small minivans, have gone in this direction. They obviously see a very big future for them in small electric cars in China, and even big electric cars with the Neo. So I think this is a company to look out for. Keep your eye out for JAC in the future, as I think they've got a very interesting path ahead of them. I mean, to be honest, this car doesn't have any standout features compared to the others. It's fairly middling, and that's what a lot of these EVs are like. They're quite basic, they get you from point A to B without any frills, and it's a choice of, well, which one has the best subsidies in the end. So you might have noticed I'm sweating quite a lot. Again, this car is running out of battery again. I've got about 15% left. I did turn the AC on earlier and it dropped the battery by about 5k, so that's a bit of a problem. So I'm sweating quite profusely at the moment. My dials are very clear. I like how they're quite 80s inspired. I get on the right hand side, I've got how much percentage battery I've got left, so it's telling me 15, and the middle tells me that I've got about 21k of range left over. Oh, sweat in my eye. Keep your eyes out on this brand. I think they've got a very bright future ahead of them, and that we're going to be seeing a lot more of JAC, Neo and VW's new cheap electric car range in China. So well done JAC for a sterling first attempt, and keep going. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Catch us again hopefully next week for another Chinese car review. Thanks.